Hi, I'm Kim Tracy with the Maxwell James Speaker Agency here with Bob Tipton. Thank you so much for being with me here this morning.
Morning, Kim.
Morning. So this is a great topic that you're going to talk to us about, uncoupling the wiring.
Yeah, so this is the notion that we get on automatic, we get on autopilot, whatever it might be. It could be seeing someone's face, or smelling something, or having an email come from an individual, or a meeting notice that pops up. Anything that we have some sort of stimulus. I like to think about teenage children in particular, or anyone that has teenage children, has had them, will have them, or was once a teenager. Um, what we do in that breaking away from our parents' dynamic is that we learn very early, actually, where our buttons are in our parents. The do this for me button, the I'm going to make you angry, explode button, the tap into your heartstrings, make you feel something button. We know where the buttons are with people that we're very close to. And depending upon the circumstances, we're willing, in fact, even eager to push the button. So the more the contentious the relationship, the more difficult the relationship might be. And the better that you know the individual, the more button pushing there is that's going on.
Okay.
And what I want to suggest is that that's a learned behavior over time. And we get treated the way that we allow ourselves to be treated. Yeah. So if you're feeling frustrated with somebody, if you feel like you can't trust them, if the relationship isn't good, if you're constantly in conflict with them, well, that's evolved to a certain point. There's some trigger or some stimulus that caused you to go there. So anyway, there's this visual that I like to think about. And I go back to one of my kids. I won't tell you which one it was. I have four. And I'll try to use gender neutral terms. Like two girls, so I won't give it away. But one of our kids is pretty dramatic and is really passionate and very emotional about things. And this child was able to build the button over years of experience and time, the explode button for both her mother and me, and got good at pushing that button. And there was a point in time, I don't know, a few years ago, with this child, where I decided I would take a different path and recognize that in order for a stimulus to create a response, I have two different paths that I can take inside of my brain. So the neural pathways available, there's the alligator brain, the low-level brain that we share with every other animal out there that's got this fight or flight sort of a response, and it's necessary for us to survive in situations. However, if we're only using that, we tend to always react very emotionally. So it's like road rage. That's where it comes from. Someone cuts you off and you have to get them back. The notion of revenge is a very low-level emotional response to a stimulus. So anyway, it only takes about a half a second for the stimulus to go all the way through my prefrontal cortex to bring in all of my executive decision-making and allow me to take a different path. That's all it takes. So it's a matter of inserting that extra half a second from stimulus into response. So I'm seeing that a lot right now in the election situation. I'm seeing very unhealthy behaviors and responses on behalf of people. They're not thinking, they're just simply reacting. And if we can just take a half a second to let it go through and look at it a different way. So the visual that I have, and this is where the title of our talk this morning is about, is I envision it like a switch on the wall. All right. So there's a switch in your room that you're sitting in watching this that will turn the lights on or off. Now imagine if you were to take the plate off of the wall, uncouple the wiring from the switch and put it back into the wall, you could do anything you wanted to with that switch and nothing would happen. So envisioning this with an employee, with a child, with a coworker, with a boss, whatever it might be, imagine when they walk up to push your button, whatever it might be, there's nothing behind it. Yeah, so the stimulus creates no response in that situation. You remain compassionately detached. You don't go to the place that you normally go. And when you really take it to the highest level, what you do is, it's obvious, we're not able to have a reasonable conversation about this particular item. I prefer to separate myself from the situation until we're ready to have a reasonable conversation about something. You give a positive response to a negative situation. You talk about it, about yourself. It's obvious that we're not ready, but it's my decision in that situation. I'm not calling you out on your behavior. Anyway, it's this notion of changing your response intentionally, actively, in an aware sort of way to a stimulus that's coming in. So try it here just for a second. The next time you see a political ad for whichever side that drives you nuts, give yourself a half a second, get out of your emotional alligator brain for a second, and then let it go through a different path. You may choose to have no response. And I have to tell you, that's a healthier and healthier place to be, because political advertising is just so toxic. So anyway, that's where the notion of uncoupling the wiring comes from.
That is absolutely fantastic. Again, if you would like to bring Bob Tipton in for an amazing keynote, workshop, or seminar, please contact me, Kim Tracy, through maxwelljames.net. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Kim.